Can we truly know someone's character? Can we uncover the essence of who they are beneath their public persona, the curated image they present to the world? These questions aren't just philosophical musings. They cut to the heart of how we connect with others, lead effectively, and grow as individuals. In a world dominated by surface impressions, social media profiles, and fleeting judgments, the need to understand character, both in others and ourselves, has never been more vital. This is where Stoicism, an ancient philosophy grounded in the pursuit of virtue and self-mastery, offers timeless guidance. Stoicism teaches that character is not defined by external achievements or appearances, but by how we act, think, and respond, especially in adversity. At its core, Stoicism is about living in accordance with reason, developing inner resilience, and focusing only on what we can control. Today, we'll explore how Stoic principles can help us see through appearances, develop a deeper understanding of those around us, and perhaps most importantly, gain greater clarity about our own nature. By the end of this discussion, you'll walk away with practical, time-tested strategies for strengthening your relationships, becoming a more grounded leader, and living a life of greater integrity and purpose. To understand how Stoicism can transform the way we view character, we must first understand the Stoic mindset. At its heart, Stoicism is a philosophy of personal ethics informed by logic and reflection. Developed in ancient Greece and Rome, its central teaching is simple but profound. Live in accordance with nature and reason. This means aligning your actions with your highest values and accepting what you cannot control. Wisdom, the ability to discern what is good, bad, and indifferent. Courage, the strength to act rightly in the face of fear or adversity. Temperance, self-control and moderation in all aspects of life. Justice, treating others fairly and acting with integrity. These principles aren't abstract ideals. They are tools for navigating everyday challenges with clarity and resilience. In our modern world of distractions, stress, and uncertainty, Stoic philosophy offers a grounded, rational approach to living well. What did the great Stoic thinkers say about character? Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor and philosopher, reminded himself daily that people may act unjustly, but his task was to remain virtuous regardless. He believed true character shows itself not in public speeches or heroic acts, but in how we handle the small, mundane moments of life. Seneca, a Roman statesman, wrote extensively about self-discipline and the importance of practicing virtue consistently, especially when no one is watching. For him, philosophy was not a hobby, but a way to shape one's inner life. Epictetus, born a slave, taught that our character is the only thing truly within our control. He argued that we cannot always choose our circumstances, but we can choose how we respond. And in those responses, our true nature is revealed. These thinkers agreed. Character is not what we proclaim, it's what we practice. It's revealed not in grand gestures, but in the quiet, repeated choices we make every day. So why should Stoicism matter to us today? Because it is not just for philosophers or scholars. It's for anyone who wants to live with greater clarity, intention, and moral strength. Stoicism offers a framework for understanding our emotions, responding to adversity with grace, and developing the kind of steady character that others can rely on. It teaches that the quality of our life is not determined by external events, but by our internal response to them. In this way, Stoicism is a deeply empowering philosophy, one that calls us to rise above impulse and live with meaning, purpose, and integrity. We often judge people based on titles, appearances, or first impressions, but Stoicism urges us to look deeper. What truly reveals someone's nature is how they behave in ordinary situations, their tone with a stranger, their reaction under pressure, their willingness to do the right thing when it costs them something. To see someone clearly means resisting the urge to judge quickly. It means paying attention, not to what they claim to be, but to what they consistently choose to do. Superficial judgments cloud our ability to see true virtue. The Stoics invite us to slow down, observe carefully, and value action over image. Think about this. How does someone treat a waiter, a janitor, or a receptionist? People from whom they stand to gain nothing. That's often where their true values show. A Stoic would say that kindness and respect should not be transactional. As Seneca wisely put it, treat your inferiors as you would wish your superiors to treat you. This isn't just about politeness, it's about moral clarity. When someone acts with dignity and decency toward those with less power or status, it reflects deep-rooted character. This doesn't just mean doing the right thing because someone might notice. It means choosing the right path because it aligns with who you truly want to be. The Stoics believed that virtue isn't something we perform for external validation, but something we cultivate from within. It's about mastering our inner world so that our external actions reflect that mastery. First, say to yourself what you would be and then do what you have to do. One of Epictetus's most profound teachings is that we must first define the character we aspire to and then align our actions with that vision. He said, first say to yourself what you would be and then do what you have to do. In other words, who do you want to be at your core? A person of integrity, a leader, a friend? Once you've defined that, every choice you make should reflect that identity. It's not enough to want to be virtuous. You must act in ways that reinforce your desired character every single day. That's how self-mastery is built. When you practice self-awareness, you're building the capacity to make better decisions, respond more thoughtfully, and shape your behavior in alignment with your core values. The more you reflect, the more you can fine-tune your actions to reflect the kind of person you aim to become. This section is about looking inward and building the self-discipline that allows us to take control of our actions and responses. It's about setting our intentions clearly and then following through, no matter what life throws our way. Stoicism is often seen as a philosophy for personal growth, but its principles extend far beyond self-discipline and inner peace. It's about how we relate to others, how we build trust, communicate effectively, and resolve conflict. By applying Stoic virtues to our interactions, we can create deeper, more meaningful relationships and navigate life's challenges with grace and clarity. At the heart of meaningful relationships lies authenticity, trust, and mutual respect. The Stoic approach to relationships is not about pleasing others or seeking approval, but about acting with integrity and treating others with fairness and compassion. This is where the Stoic virtues, patience, kindness, and honesty shine brightest. Consider how patience can transform a relationship. In a world that often values instant gratification, patience allows us to give others the time and space they need to grow without rushing to judgment. Kindness, on the other hand, cultivates goodwill even in difficult times and encourages open-hearted communication, and honesty builds trust. When we speak truthfully and without pretense, we invite others to do the same. Let's look at a real-life example. Imagine a leader in a company who consistently practices these virtues. They take the time to listen to team members, remain calm during stressful periods, and treat every person with respect, regardless of their position. Over time, this person builds a reputation for being fair, reliable, and compassionate. As a result, the team feels valued, they trust their leader, and the workplace thrives on collaboration. One of the cornerstones of Stoic relationship building is consistency. It's not enough to be virtuous on occasion, you must make it a habit. Stoicism teaches that honoring commitments, no matter how small, is vital for building strong relationships. This means following through on promises, being dependable, and showing up when you say you will. A personal anecdote: several years ago, I made a commitment to a friend to help them with a project, even though my schedule was tight. Despite the pressure, I honored that commitment and was there when I said I would be. Later, my friend mentioned how much it meant to them, not just because I helped, but because they could rely on my word. In that moment, I realized that small, consistent acts of reliability build long-lasting trust. Relationships, whether personal or professional, thrive on this sense of reliability and mutual respect. By practicing consistency in our actions, we ensure that our relationships are built on a solid foundation of trust. While building relationships is important, knowing how to communicate effectively and resolve conflicts is just as essential. Stoicism offers profound wisdom here, particularly when it comes to emotional control and focusing on solutions rather than getting lost in blame or frustration. Stoicism teaches that when we're in the heat of a conversation, especially a difficult one, we should remain calm and respond with reason, not emotion. Instead of reacting impulsively to what someone says, we can pause, listen, and then engage thoughtfully. Let's take an example. Two colleagues are having a disagreement about a project. One becomes defensive, raising their voice and focusing on blame. The other, having practiced Stoic principles, stays calm and listens first. They focus on the issue at hand, not on the emotions of the moment, and suggest possible solutions instead of escalating the tension. By maintaining control over their emotions and focusing on a constructive dialogue, they resolve the conflict efficiently, preserving both the relationship and the team's productivity. Effective communication doesn't just resolve conflicts, it strengthens bonds. When we listen with empathy, manage our emotions, and focus on solutions, we create an environment of mutual respect and collaboration. The beauty of Stoicism is that its effects ripple out. By embodying Stoic virtues in our daily interactions, whether through consistency, emotional control, or empathy, we influence those around us. Stoic principles, practiced consistently, create a positive feedback loop. The more we embody patience, the more others feel understood. The more we communicate with integrity, the more trust is built. In the workplace, this can mean fostering a culture of accountability and respect. In personal relationships, it can deepen connections and bring more peace into our lives. In both cases, Stoicism offers us tools to not only improve ourselves, but also to uplift the people around us. This section shows how the Stoic philosophy isn't just about internal growth. It's about using those internal practices to build more meaningful, respectful, and peaceful relationships with others. By focusing on patience, consistency, and emotional control, we can transform our interactions with others, making them more grounded, honest, and ultimately more fulfilling. Power and leadership often go hand in hand, but how we wield that power reveals much about our true character. In the Stoic worldview, true leadership isn't about control or dominance. It's about service, humility, and empowering others. The Stoic approach challenges us to use power wisely, ensuring that it uplifts and benefits others rather than fostering insecurity or arrogance. Power can be an incredible tool, but it can also be a mirror to our character. How we use power, whether in leadership, relationships, or decision making, reveals who we truly are. When power is misused, it often exposes insecurity and arrogance. Leaders who abuse their power are typically trying to mask their own uncertainties or fear of being undermined. On the other hand, those who wield power with humility tend to display confidence in themselves and trust in others. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, had a profound understanding of leadership. He viewed the role of a leader not as one who commands, but as one who serves. He believed that the leader's task is to help others succeed, not to dominate them. In his meditations, he frequently reminds himself that his position is not about personal glory, but about duty to the people. His leadership was marked by humility and responsibility, qualities that earned him the admiration of those he led. A modern-day example of this leadership style can be found in Jacinda Ardern, the former Prime Minister of New Zealand. Ardern is known for her empathetic, inclusive approach to leadership. When faced with crises such as the Christchurch shooting and the COVID-19 pandemic, she led with transparency, compassion, and a deep commitment to the well-being of others. Her leadership wasn't about asserting dominance, it was about listening, connecting, and guiding people through difficult times. At its core, Stoic leadership isn't about asserting control, it's about empowering others to succeed. The Stoics taught that the best leaders are those who focus on cultivating virtue in others, who listen more than they speak, and who lead by example. A Stoic leader's true character is revealed in how they treat their subordinates and use their power. They don't abuse authority, but instead use their influence to build a team where everyone can thrive. True leadership, according to Stoicism, is about fostering collaboration, encouraging others to express their talents, and allowing them to grow. Take a moment and think about a leader you admire, someone who empowers others, listens with empathy, and remains grounded even in challenging situations. A good example of a modern Stoic leader might be Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. Since taking the helm, Nadella has transformed Microsoft's culture by focusing on empathy, collaboration, and a growth mindset. Rather than imposing his will on the company, he works to inspire and enable employees to contribute their best, fostering an environment where everyone's voice is valued. One of the defining traits of Stoic leadership is the ability to remain composed under pressure. Stoic leaders are resilient in the face of adversity, facing challenges with courage and calmness. Rather than being consumed by the chaos of a crisis, they maintain their focus and act in a measured, thoughtful way. Consider the example of Chesley Sully Sullenberger, the pilot who famously landed U.S. Airways Flight 1549 in the Hudson River after both engines failed. Sully's leadership and courage in that moment were stoic in nature. He remained calm, composed, and focused despite the overwhelming pressure. His training and clear-headed decision-making saved the lives of 155 people on board. He didn't panic or give in to fear. Instead, he acted according to his training and principles. Sully's leadership is a perfect example of stoic resilience in action. In the corporate world, leaders who are able to manage crises with a steady hand often gain the trust and admiration of their teams. When leaders remain calm under pressure, they set the tone for the entire organization, helping others find their own strength in tough times. Power isn't just about grand moments of leadership. It's about the small, everyday choices we make that affect those around us. The way we treat others on a daily basis, how we listen, and how we lead by example shapes the culture of the workplace, the community, and even our homes. Take a personal example. A leader in a small business consistently respects people's time by showing up for meetings on time and being prepared. They don't talk down to their employees, but instead they ask for feedback, listen attentively, and give credit where it's due. These small actions, repeated consistently, create a culture of respect and mutual trust. This is the ripple effect of power. When we lead with humility, empathy, and a focus on the well-being of others, the influence we have expands far beyond us. True power, according to Stoicism, is in empowering others to become their best selves, not by asserting control, but by guiding and inspiring. Stoic leadership teaches us that power, when used wisely, is about serving others, fostering trust, and empowering growth. A stoic leader doesn't seek to dominate, but to elevate. By remaining calm under pressure, leading with humility, and being consistent in our actions, we can inspire those around us to rise to their potential. Whether in a corporate setting, a community, or a family, the principles of stoic leadership allow us to create environments where people feel respected, supported, and inspired to do their best work. And in doing so, we not only become better leaders, but better people. At the end of our lives, we won't be remembered for the things we accumulated or the fleeting moments of fame. What endures is the legacy we leave behind, the impact we've had on others, and the values we've embodied. Stoicism offers a powerful framework for crafting a life that's not just well-lived, but meaningful, virtuous, and lasting. To live a stoic life is to make intentional decisions that align with your deepest values. The Stoics believe that life is not about accumulating wealth or accolades, but about aligning our actions with virtue, wisdom, temperance, justice, and courage. These virtues aren't theoretical ideals, they are practical tools that shape how we engage with the world and how we leave our mark. But living with purpose doesn't mean avoiding challenges. It means facing them with grace. Life will inevitably throw difficulties our way, but how we respond to those challenges defines our legacy. Do we act with wisdom when faced with hard choices? Do we exercise courage in the face of fear? Are we just when others might act unfairly? Do we practice temperance in times of excess? Pause for a moment and ask yourself, what legacy do I want to leave behind? How will I be remembered by those around me? What values do I want to define my life? These questions help us understand not just what we want to achieve, but why we want to achieve it, giving us a sense of purpose and direction. Stoicism encourages us to live with intentionality, focusing on the things that truly matter and letting go of the distractions that pull us off course. Living a stoic life doesn't happen in a single moment. It's the sum of small, consistent actions taken every day. The Stoics believed in building virtue through daily habits and mindful choices. It's in the little decisions, the everyday moments, where we have the opportunity to practice Stoicism and cultivate our character. For example, consider these daily habits. Meditation, taking a few minutes each morning to reflect on your values, goals, and the challenges of the day ahead. This practice sets the tone for your decisions and helps you center yourself. Journaling, writing down your thoughts, reactions, and reflections each day allows you to track your progress, notice areas for improvement, and reinforce your Stoic principles. Mindful decision making. Every decision, no matter how small, is an opportunity to practice Stoicism. Whether it's resisting a moment of frustration in traffic, staying patient in a difficult conversation, or choosing a healthier option when tempted by indulgence, each choice is a step toward building a virtuous life. Consistency is key. The Stoics didn't believe in grand gestures of virtue. They believed that a meaningful life is made up of small, consistent actions that reflect our inner values. By cultivating good habits, we gradually transform our character and create the foundation for a meaningful legacy. The path to a lasting legacy is paved by small, consistent actions. The way we treat others, how we handle stress, manage our time, and use our power shapes not only our immediate surroundings, but our legacy as well. It's the day-to-day choices we make that create a lasting ripple effect. Take the example of Nelson Mandela, a man who faced immense personal hardship, yet embodied Stoic virtues throughout his life. Mandela was unwavering in his commitment to justice and peace, even when faced with imprisonment and great adversity. He practiced patience in his pursuit of reconciliation, courage in his fight against injustice, and wisdom in his ability to forgive. His leadership left an indelible mark on the world, not through grand gestures, but through small, everyday decisions that embodied his core values. Similarly, in our own lives, we can build a legacy of impact by cultivating relationships based on trust and respect, handling difficult situations with resilience and grace, and choosing to act with integrity in all we do. Every time we treat others with kindness, resist the urge to react impulsively, and stay true to our values, we're building a foundation for a legacy of virtue. Remember that a legacy isn't just built through big moments, it's the little things, the way we interact with people day in and day out that create a lasting impact. How we use our time, how we treat people in everyday situations, and how we lead by example ripple outward, influencing the people around us and shaping how we'll be remembered. Imagine a workplace leader who consistently listens to their team, acknowledges their contributions, and makes decisions with integrity. Over time, that leader's actions create a culture of trust and respect that extends beyond their tenure, affecting the way employees treat each other and approach their work. This legacy, built on Stoic principles, continues to inspire long after the leader has moved on. The Stoic path to a life well lived isn't about dramatic moments or achievements. It's about living with purpose, guided by the virtues of wisdom, courage, temperance, and justice. By making intentional decisions every day, cultivating small but consistent habits, and acting with integrity, we create a life that leaves a legacy of virtue and positive impact. As you reflect on your own legacy, ask yourself, what actions today will shape the person I become tomorrow? Can I make small, consistent choices that reflect the values I want to embody? What impact do I want to leave behind for others to carry forward? By answering these questions and applying Stoic principles daily, you'll begin to build not just a life of virtue, but a lasting legacy that will influence others for years to come. As we wrap up this discussion on Stoicism, let's take a moment to reflect on what we learned. Stoic philosophy is not just a set of ideas to admire, it's a call to action. The Stoics didn't just talk about virtue, they lived it, practiced it daily, and used it to shape their character and their legacies. The journey of self-improvement begins with awareness, the awareness that we have the power to choose how we respond to every situation, to every person, and to every challenge. It's about recognizing that, as Marcus Aurelius reminds us, we are not defined by the events that happen to us, but by how we respond to them. Start small. Begin applying these Stoic insights in your own life. Practice self-awareness by reflecting on your actions and reactions. Cultivate virtues like patience, kindness, and courage. Use your power and influence with humility, and let your character be your guide in every decision you make. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Marcus Aurelius. This quote is a perfect reminder that we don't need to wait for the perfect moment or engage in endless philosophical debates about what we should do. The time for action is now. Be the person you want to be today. By practicing Stoic virtues, we not only improve our own lives, but inspire those around us. Our actions ripple outward, influencing others, creating a culture of integrity, trust, and mutual respect. The path to greatness, according to Stoicism, doesn't lie in wealth or power, but in living a life of purpose, integrity, and self-reflection. So let us all take up the challenge to live with greater awareness, to act with intention, and to lead with virtue. The journey begins now, one small Stoic step at a time. Stoic